Hi everyone, and welcome back to another drawing demo. Okay, so today I'm going to be drawing this scene here. It's not my usual landscape, that's for sure, so a little bit out of my comfort zone with this one. I've already got a grid laid over it. It's 6 by 6 and it's on an A4 piece of paper. Now if you're interested in drawing along with this demo, because this is only going to be a quick overview of the drawing, but if you're interested in drawing from start to finish with full instruction, there's 10 videos to accompany this one over on my Patreon channel, and I think there's over 8 hours of real-time content for you to watch, and of course draw along with if you want to. I'll leave links to Patreon in the description below and on the end screen at the end of this video. Okay, so the materials that I used to draw this picture were the Daily Rowney A4 smooth heavyweight cartridge paper. I used a 4B mechanical pencil, a 2B mechanical pencil, a Tombow fine eraser, blue tack, Koh-i-Noor pencil eraser, 2B wood case pencil, 4B wood case pencil, HB pencil, 4H pencil, a couple of blending tools, cotton swab, 2 paper blenders and a soft brush, and a set square. Oh, what's that I hear you say? Are all these products linked in the description below with affiliate links, Smoothie? Why yes they are, thank you very much for asking. Seriously though, all the products will be linked in the description below for you to check out if you're interested. Okay, so thanks very much, let's get started with the drawing. Okay, so I'm starting out in my usual way, just using an HB pencil and pressing very lightly. I don't want to emboss the paper and get graphite deep into the grain or the tooth of the paper. I want to be able to erase any lines really easily, make any corrections without leaving any trace of any pencil lines behind. So I'm using a 6 by 6 grid, so it's a square format that I'm working on today. Oh, incidentally, there'll be 2 reference photos over on my Patreon channel, one with a grid and one without, for you to download if you want to draw along with this. We'll kind of just whiz through the line drawing fairly quickly. So like I say, this is only an overview, this is not the full lesson, that's all over on Patreon. This is just to give you, a taster, of what the drawing's about. So we're just about at the end of the line drawing. I'm just going to start the shading now. Using a 2B pencil for this, just to start the woodwork off. Just adding a little bit of texture as I go. And softening back and blending in, and then adding a little bit more texture. Fairly repetitive process. It's not really difficult or anything like that, it's just fairly time consuming. To get the wood grain, the look of the wood grain on the wood. I'm starting off now with the windows. Having to skip through, quite a large chunk of the video. I can't remember how many hours the drawing actually took me, probably about 20 or 30, maybe more. I mean, it took me a lot longer than usual because it's not really my usual subject, So I did struggle a little bit, particularly with the face, the hands. At one point the face actually started to look like Shrek. My son looked at it actually when it was finished and he said it looked like an Eskimo. I'm happy with that, at least he didn't say Shrek, so... I mean, I did play around altering, the shading and some of the shape and everything on the face, throughout the drawing. I was happy with the result at the end, considering I'm not a portrait artist or anything like that. Landscapes are really my thing. Although I have done quite a few portraits in the past, I just seem to enjoy landscapes more. But this scene did appeal to me. I like the texturing on the wood and the reflection in the window. I thought it was a nice picture to do. But I was a bit worried about, drawing the face because I haven't done any portraits for quite a while. But I think it turned out okay, even if it did look like an Eskimo. That's fine with me. I did actually say to myself at the start of the drawing, I'll just be happy if I can get the face just to look like a girl's face. It doesn't have to look like the one in the picture. You know, as long as it just looks like a girl's face in the drawing, I'll be happy with that. And I think I've done okay. I think it turned out, you know, reasonably okay. It's definitely not the girl in the picture, in the photograph, should I say, but it does look like a girl in the, you know, in the final drawing. Now, a quick tip about drawing reflections on glass or any smooth surface, any reflections like this. I always tend to blend, almost overblend. I don't want any texture of the paper showing through, it just looks so artificial. So to keep blending the graphite into the tooth of the paper and fill all those little pores in, it's going to give you a much smoother polished look to that area, and it's going to give the impression more that it's, you know, glass, you know, or a very smooth surface that's reflecting something. You know, a little bit of texture of the paper showing through on the wood or somewhere like that is absolutely fine, it'll all add to it. You know, but on these smooth flat surfaces, reflective surfaces, it just doesn't work. So, you know, use the blender a lot there and keep it nice and smooth. Obviously there's a lot more detailed instruction and tips and techniques over on Patreon, you know, with the real-time version of this. In fact, there's 8 hours worth of content, which is quite a lot of content actually. So you should be able to follow along with this one with no problem at all. It'd be great to see you over on Patreon actually. We've got a fantastic community over there. You know, really helpful, friendly, supportive people. They're all posting their artwork. Everybody's making friends. It's a fantastic community, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it over there. And not only that, you know, if you pay your $4 a month, you're not committed for the year or anything, it's just for the month, and you can renew at the end of the month if you want to, or pull out if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But whatever, you'll get access to this this video, well 10 videos, 8 hours worth of content to accompany this video, and there's over 100 other drawing demonstrations on Patreon as well. Not just projects, but tips, techniques, videos, blending demonstrations, all sorts of stuff over there. So if you want to, you know, graphite drawing and a little bit of watercolour, I'm sure you'll find it, you know, very useful over there. Okay, so I'm starting on the coat now and starting to map out the creases. And I'm just using the graphite that's on the end of the blender for that, just to lay down a very soft line, just to indicate, you know, the darker parts of the crease. It's very simple, very easy to do, but again, it's quite time consuming. So once you've got some graphite down there, and you've kind of indicated where, you know, the darker parts of the creases are, you can go in with the eraser then and start to pull out some of the lighter parts, some of the highlights, and really start defining the shape, you know, and the texture on the garments. And of course there's lots of blending as well, you know, involved with that. But like I said, there'll be much more instruction and it'll be easy for me to explain, you know, over on Patreon. So now I'm starting with the face, and I mean it's it's in the early stages. I mean, it's not quite there yet. I do, like I say, play around with it throughout the course of the drawing, so it does alter a little bit, you know, here and there. But I'm kind of going back and forth between the face and the clothes and just kind of trying to bring everything up together and not just concentrate just on one area. Sometimes I find it easier to concentrate on one area, but there's other situations like this where, you know, for some reason it just helps me to kind of bring everything up together and to kind of match the tones, you know, as I go along. Something else I found very useful as well is using a magnifying glass. I often use one, but you often don't see it because it doesn't get in the frame of the camera. But sometimes, like on these really small, you know, detailed areas, I find it very useful just to use a magnifying glass, you know, to concentrate on those areas. So I did use that quite a bit when I was doing the face and the hands. So now we're on the first scarf. Again, you know, there's a lot more detail and instruction over on Patreon. I don't want to keep, repeating myself and giving these shameless plugs to Patreon all the time, but you've got to understand that this is just a quick overview, and it's very hard to explain or give any real detailed instruction, in a 10-minute YouTube video, on how to draw fur, like this. Because again, it's very time consuming, but believe it or not, it's not that difficult. It's just a case of several layers, several processes applied one after the other, and you can soon achieve the look of fur, like on this scarf just here. Patience is a key thing as well. You have to be a fairly patient person to stick with it, for doing these kind of techniques. But with everything like that, it's all worth it in the end. Realistic drawings do take time. They're not just quick 5-minute sketches. I've always said, if you want to achieve realistic results in your work, you've got to put the hours in. And I always think it's better to maybe spend 20, 30, even 50. I know people that spend 300 hours on a drawing. And I think, in my case, on average my drawings take about 20 to 30 hours, something like that. And I always say it's better just to do one drawing, spend 30 hours doing one drawing, than actually, do 10 drawings in 30 hours and not really be pleased or achieve the results, that you want. Whereas, spending the time more on one drawing seems to pay off. It seems to get you the results. So if you're going to dedicate so much time, per week to a drawing, why not just dedicate that time just to one drawing, instead of 10, and just see the difference in results that you get. You might find it a little bit monotonous at first, sticking with the same drawing, but after a while you'll soon be very pleased with the results you get. When you're taking your time and spending more time on that one drawing, that's when the results really start to happen. So we're just about at the end of this one now, just sort of a few sort of finishing touches here, just on the coat and here and there. I always like to look at the drawing in its own right, right at the very end. I kind of stop looking at the reference photo and then think, what can I do to this drawing to improve the drawing? I always think that's a good thing to do. Spend just 10 minutes looking at it, just making sure the tones are balanced, everything's looking right. It always needs a little bit of adjustment here and there, so just spend 5 minutes at the end just checking over it and making sure everything's okay. Right, so we are at the end of the drawing now. That's the finished result there. I hope you like it. Don't forget, come over to Patreon and check it out over there. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It'd be great to see you over there. So thanks very much for watching. Take care everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.